So it turns out that Saitama is way stronger than we initially thought. Based on the last chapter of One Punch Man, we saw the serious table flip. This is something that we have been waiting for like 6-7 years. And with one hand, Saitama was able to completely dissipate the entire crust of Io, the moon of Jupiter. And this moon, just for perspective's sake, is actually very similar to the size of Earth's moon, is an insane feat on its own. I mean, this, yes, is a serious move, but he was only using one hand here. Now, he says in this chapter that he went full power. We know that that's not 100% true because obviously he was only using one hand, right? Is it one hand at full power? And we've seen Saitama's feats before in the past, things like jumping from the moon down to Earth. His serious punch was able to part the clouds of the entire Earth. He has ridiculous speeds, and I believe there's like one part where he like punched a hole into another dimension or something like that. But I think the most important thing that happened in this chapter is that Saitama apparently does not obey the laws of any physics. We saw Garo use the hyperspace gates on Saitama, and he was able to grab them, literal black holes, with his bare hands and kick them away. Simultaneously, even though he said in the manga he couldn't breathe on the moon and he was just gonna hold his breath, and you can't breathe on Io, he's able to just fight without breathing. Maybe we'll get an answer to that on the next chapter, like perhaps he'll say, oh, I better finish this quick because I need to breathe. But so far, I mean, he's literally having a conversation without any oxygen even. So in that regard alone, he doesn't obey the laws of physics or the laws of human anatomy and physiology as well. And we got to see his new ultimate move in the most recent chapter, the omnidirectional serious punch. Now, we didn't get to see that connect, but that very easily, I believe, could have destroyed the entire galaxy. One of the most important things that we can talk about here is the serious punch versus serious punch clash between Garo and Saitama. The amount of energy and force from two serious punches clashing could have easily have obliterated Earth, and as we saw, a blast with the help of the galactic cadre teleported them away, but it left a giant black like hole kind of in space. It appeared that it like wiped out millions of stars in the process, and it's tough to attribute this all to Saitama because this could easily have had something to do with Blast and the Galactic Cadre, how they created this massive gate to teleport Garo and Saitama away, as well as all of that damage from the connecting explosion of their fists. But I think it definitely does give us an indicator. I mean, if you just look at the energy coming out of that clash, I think at the very minimum, you might want to say that Saitama is solar system level. But we know that Saitama doesn't have any limits, and he's never really been pushed all the way. In fact, he may not even be going all out 110% against Garo because maybe he just simply doesn't want to kill him. But he did say in the manga, in this most recent chapter, I can go all out at full power against the guy who can take it. But granted, after everything he accomplished in this most recent chapter, the serious table flip, teleporting around the planet at like faster than light speeds, shooting out these serious punches and omnidirectional serious punches, flying through hyperspace gates at like seemingly warp speed, it's very clear here that Saitama is way stronger than we even initially thought. I mean, I think most people thought he was probably planet level, but after seeing the destructive power of those serious punches clashing, I think it's pretty evident that he's way more powerful than we ever imagined, and we still haven't even scratched the surface for him, at least I don't think. Now, at the end of the chapter, it did appear that Saitama took some damage. It looked like he's spitting out blood. We're not 100% sure about that yet, if that's spit or blood. But if Saitama is actually having a struggle with Garo, like even, it's not even a struggle, but like he's like having to try a little bit against Garo, what happens when Saitama fights the real god? I mean, if these truly are Saitama's full power punches, like if he's saying here in this chapter that serious punch is my strongest punch, which I don't think it is, then I think that Saitama might actually have some trouble against God. And it might be Saitama plus Blast and Galactic Crew against God as the finale of the series. Like, Saitama at that point might actually need help, because if a sliver of God's power is able to inflict damage on Saitama, the actual God himself could potentially be far stronger than even Saitama, which I don't even know how is possible at this point, considering that Saitama just keeps increasing his feats seemingly limitlessly. To summarize this chapter alone, like, what feats can we add for Saitama? For one, It's very evident here that he can breathe out in space, or at least he doesn't need to breathe. Like, that's pretty insane. I mean, we've seen him hold his breath on the moon, but like able to withstand nuclear explosions and black holes like they're nothing. Now, he did actually withstand Gjörgenshoup, if you remember. I think it's like episode 11 of season 1. And that guy's power is supposed to be the strength of a black hole, and Saitama was literally just standing there like it was nothing. So we have seen him encounter kind of black hole level powers before, and that's not really anything new, but we haven't seen him physically grab a black hole with his bare hands. That's something that Goku can't do, I don't think. And there's one point in the chapter where Garo says that as he's getting ping-ponged around in the serious table flip attack, that I feel so disoriented. It's like a child playing with a caged bug, right? A caged insect. And that's pretty much, I think, an analogy for what exactly this battle actually is, where Garo is the insect and the child is Saitama. Garo, who could easily destroy the Earth, is an insect compared to Saitama. Now, could his strongest punch destroy an entire galaxy? I think it's very possible, although we still don't know what his like true full power 100% punch actually is. It might be Serious Punch, or omnidirectional Serious Punch. That might be his strongest move ever, which is a combination of the serious table flip plus essentially serious side hops plus serious punches, right? He's creating all these after images of himself moving at light speed or far beyond light speed, and then the after images throw a serious punch at the same time. If those fists connect, I'm pretty sure that would probably wipe out a galaxy. I mean, I feel like it's definitely possible, and considering what we saw in this chapter, and considering how strong Garo is. Of course, that's all speculation. I mean, the thing is, Saitama is limitless, and we're never probably going to know the true extent of his 100% power until he fights against God at the end of the series. But from the explosion from the clash of the two serious punches generating that much energy, and just being able to basically destroy a moon with the flick of his wrist, people are going to start arguing if Saitama is stronger than Goku again. In the next chapter, I'm guessing it's going to be the conclusion to this fight, and I'm guessing we're going to be able to add a lot of additional feats even on top of what we got in 167. Because if it follows the continuity of kind of like how the webcomic develops, Garo's probably going to try his best to throw some serious punches, but pretty sure he's going to get annihilated, and then he's either going to take the full power of God, or his body is going to start distorting, or something has to happen, because in the webcomic, Garo keeps monsterifying more, and he turns into like this big gargoyle, but we actually got way past that already. I think Murata does have something special in store for us, and as Blast said, that Garo basically only has a sliver of the divine power, so I think it's possible Garo may take more. If he can't beat Saitama, he very well may say, hey God, give me full power, or give me more power. It may transform him even more. They may start doing even crazier things. And I think we're going to be able to add even more to the feat sheet of Saitama, which seemingly is endless, seemingly limitless. Of course, they can't give us God versus Saitama yet, because that should be reserved for the finale of the series. I mean, God is obviously the final boss, but I could see him giving Garo even more power, potentially, and what happens then? Is Saitama gonna have to use something beyond serious? Are we gonna, is he gonna blow up Jupiter, like, or something? Like, I don't know, but I'm pretty pumped and I'm pretty excited. These chapters are just 10 out of 10 over and over for like five chapters in a row. Absolutely amazing, breathtaking stuff. And the next one, I'm assuming, is the finale, because Murata did mention something about that on Twitter, that this arc is about to end. So I could expect one or two more insane feats from Saitama in the next chapter. I hope you guys are ready. I'm Mastar. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one.